Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu was in Ogun State for his presidential campaign rally in that state, and while there, he made a very, very shocking or stunning revelation, where he said, "Look, the powers that be are trying to scuttle the election, not just scuttle the election, but also, undermine his chances of winning the election." And he says the hoarding of fuel, or there's an artificial scarcity, that the fuel scarcity and the scarcity of the naira note is artificial, and that these powers that be want to frustrate or sabotage his efforts at becoming president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, the meat of the conversation revolves around the fact that he currently seems to be campaigning against his own party, because that's what it appears to be, campaigning against his own party, and similarly contradicting himself when he says, I made, in the same Ogun State, he had said he made the president, Buhari, president, that the man had failed several times until he came around and put him there. Now, the president also has earlier stated that, he wants to go down in history, remembered as the one who made sure that the voices of Nigerians were heard when it comes to elections, that the will of the people prevails, that they vote whoever it is that they want to vote, and not where in a situation where people have money, use monies to mobilize thugs and also manipulate the process. It was quite stunning, quite interesting revelations. But then what the presidential candidates of the party APC said yesterday just came as a shocker to a lot of Nigerians, and some people have not been able to wrap their heads around it. Are you now dissociating yourself from your party? Are you saying that people should vote you and not your party? Or what is it that he's saying? Is there a face-off between the president and the candidates of the party? People have said this over time, that the president seems not to be in support of the candidacy of Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. They say, look at the way the president has gone around. He's not even fully in support of these these candidates of the party. Some people say, oh, the president should have paid back, given back the support that he got from Asiwaju in 2015. What kind of face-off would this be? Because in Asiwaju's statement, he says the hoarding of fuel. He mentioned the hoarding of fuel, or the fuel scarcity, and the naira redesign. Okay, what does this have to do with him in person? Why haven't we seen other candidates also, making these kinds of statements? And if there's anybody who's in charge of these things that he mentioned, the petroleum and the currency, it is the president and the presidency. Now, in fact, we've heard that the CBN governor reports directly to the president. He's only in direct contact and communication with the president. He only does what the president wants. So all these kind of traces back to the president, or falls back to the president. Is saying the Minister of Petroleum in this country is the president. The president just yesterday, also 2 days ago, had set up a steering committee to resolve the fuel scarcity issue, and in that committee the president is the chairman. The president also being the leader of the party, the national leader of the party, also now having a face-off with another national leader of the party. What does this say about the chances of the All Progressives Congress? We hope to have join us this morning ADAMU GARBA, who is also a member of the campaign team, or the campaign council. He's going to be joining us. He has promised to joining a lady. He had a bit of delay, but before then, let's listen to the candidates of the All Progressives Congress. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth. For those of you who understand Yoruba, you may want to interpret for those who do not understand. I've tried to do my basic understanding, from my basic understanding of the language. I've tried to, explain what he said, but you may want to listen and tell us, or let us in on what you think he actually meant by, those people and them, or they, who the they are, because some of the people have put out some interpretations on social media. Some people are saying, oh, he's referring to the North. Some others are saying, no, it's not referring to the North, he's referring to the PDP. Some others said, look, the PDP doesn't control any of these things. It's only the president and the APC, or the presidency, that controls this thing. So he's basically referring to them. Whichever side you pick. Those of you who understand the language, help us understand, who he may be talking about.
BBC láti máa gbàjọba lọ́wọ́ wọn. Wọn bá ní kò ṣe pépo pamọ́, ẹgbẹ́ náírà pamọ́, a máa dìbò.
A máa wọlé, a máa dìbò.
A máa wọlé, a máa dìbò. A máa wọlé. Bá pa.
Apologies there. Sometimes you have these hitches, but don't worry, I'll get it back, and I'll make sure that you get the full, that you hear it again for yourself.
Pépo pamọ́, ẹgbẹ́ náírà pamọ́, a máa dìbò.
A máa wọlé, a máa dìbò.
A máa wọlé, a máa dìbò. A máa wọlé. Bá pààrọ̀ ìkì ara náírà.
Bá náwó kẹjọ ní gbèsè.
Lè náwó kẹjọ ní gbèsè. Ibi tẹ́ bá gbójú sí, ọ̀nà òní gbàbẹ̀, àwa la máa wọlé. Àwọn ẹlẹ́gbẹ́ alábùradà yẹn, wọ́n máa ṣe kíni o, wọ́n máa lulẹ̀.
Àkọ́bí àwọn tí fẹ́ wà láyé dá o, àmọ́ yìí o, àwa mọ̀ yìí àtún ìmọ̀ o. Èyí tí púpẹ̀ rí wà láyé dá. Bàbá dúró.
So well, those of you who listened, or who can interpret the language, help us interpret this and let us in on what you think he was saying, and who you think he is referring to. This is a completing part of that audio there. Okay.
Sí láti máa gbàjọba lọ́wọ́ wọn. Wọn bá ní kò ṣepo, àárín lọ bẹ̀. Kò sí ọgbọ́n ìdákúdàkú pọ̀ lọ́wọ́ wọn. Wọ́n lè ní kò ṣepo, wọ́n ti ń dọ́gbọ́n dá ọ̀rọ̀ kò ṣepo.
Well, if there really is a face-off between the president and the candidates of the All Progressives Congress, recall that the president was in Lagos 2 days ago. If there really is a face-off between them, will the APC candidates be able to succeed at the polls? I mean, looking at the fact that he got the support of Tinubu in 2015, and with that support, he was able to win. If the president does not give his full support to this candidate of his party, would he be able to succeed at clinching, that return certificate that says you are president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? We'll be talking more, and also the fact that a member of the campaign committee, or the campaign council of the APC, the Presidential Campaign Council of the APC, Najatu Bala Mohammed, also resigned and walked away from the council saying she's supporting the candidates of the People's Democratic Party. And she says, look, the people who surround the candidates of the All Progressives Congress are all sycophants who are just there for their personal benefits, what they can get from him, the monies that they can get from him, and even positions that they can get from him when he eventually, if he becomes president. I love you to join the conversation now. 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. You can send SMS and WhatsApp messages to 090-9705-4450. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my prince. How are you?
I'm very well, Mayowa. Good to have you. Mayowa, please interpret the video for us. Or that audio.
See, it depends on the angle you stand. And just like you, the interpretation you gave, it's not correct.
Okay.
He has spoken. He said, if they like, let them hold fuel. If they like, let them carry Naira away. Let it not be available.
The question is, who are they?
Wait now. He said, our party will win. He said, we should not mind those other parties, the umbrella party, that no matter what they do, that we are going to defeat them.
Does that really make sense to you? Because the PDP does not control any of these things. The PDP does not control petroleum. Do they control? The Naira we designed was it done by the PDP?
Okay.
Let's be logical about it. Was it done by the PDP?
No. See, we are not being objective with what is happening.
How do you mean you're not being objective? You're the one who's not being objective, because if you want to be objective, you would know that the PDP does not in any way control monetary policies in this country. In fact, the CBN governor has been touted to be a card-carrying member of the All Progressives Congress. So what do you mean that it's the PDP?
Okay, do you want me? Are you done? Sure, can I talk now?
I would let you talk.
Okay. Before now, people have said, when we talk about petroleum industry, PDP government rule for 16 years, over 16 years. And they are the one that knows who are importing fuel, who are dealing in oil. The entire people in oil industry, they are the one. And this is one of the reasons why President Momodu has been accused of not doing enough, because he has refused to push these people away since he came. These are the people that control the oil sector and economy of Nigeria. The money is in their pockets. They have power, but not necessarily be in government. No, they are within the economy of Nigeria. They can do whatever they like, and the effect of what they have done is why this government has not achieved so much. You are saying the CBN governor is a card-carrying member of APC. You see, how do you determine that? Because somebody is carrying APC card, does it mean that it's so actively with APC? No. I'm just asking you that. Are you not seeing some people jumping from one party to the other today? People that belong to a particular party and say tomorrow they are now with another person, crossing from APC to PDP, from PDP to APC. Are you not seeing that? The
president is the minister of petroleum. NNPC, Mayowa, you should know that the NNPC is the sole importer of PMS into this country.
But you heard what the president said.
The president
is a 14-man committee. He set up 14-man committee that they should make sure that this problem is resolved.
And he is the chairman of that committee.
It doesn't matter. The chairman how? Yes, it doesn't matter. But it's not. By virtue of the provision of Nigeria Constitution, President Muhammadu Buhari is the minister of everything. He's the chief executive of Nigeria. Is the one that will appoint people that work for him.
So you're indirectly saying that. You are indirectly saying
if question is to be asked, is the one that will answer, because the job is given to him to do. It's only appointing people to assist him to achieve that.
So you're saying number one. It means that you're saying that whoever Tinubu was referring to was the president, because the president is the one in charge of everything.
Tinubu was categorical. He was categorical. He even mentioned it was categorical. Okay. See, like I said, let us be objective.
You should be objective. I think that you need to be objective some more, Mayowa. Looking at the situation critically, you need to be a little more objective. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very much.
Your thoughts are always welcome. Thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Iheanacho.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. Yes.
What's your name, sir?
ID Noble from ID Noble.
ID Noble. I'm glad you're here.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. I'm a 100% Yoruba man from Ogun State.
Okay.
Abeokuta precisely.
Okay.
Abeokuta North.
Okay.
See, let me tell you something. No matter the conspiracy theory anybody is bringing up, this man was referring to the president and the people in APC. If you know what is going on in APC presently, you will wonder what is going on with these our politicians. See, if you say you play the whole sandbag, we know that something he threw at the VP. He threw something also at former President Obasanjo. When he talk about they have eaten their kokore, he was referring to a Jebuman, which happened to be the VP. When he talk about they have eaten their lasso, that is Egbaman, this is Obasanjo. See, if you know what this man is trying to do, he is talking about so many things at the same time. So if anybody comes up and tells you that it's a PDP, for how long are they going to blame PDP? I'm not a PDP man. I'm not even a APC man. But I'm telling you something. See, there is a lot of things going on in the APC presently, and they don't want to admit it. But we will see what will happen. So, but it is unfortunate that they are still blaming PDP up to this time. Up to this time.
Okay.
God will help a lot. So
Thank you very much. Thank you so much
For your interpretation, he says he's from Ogun State. This is where which is where Asiwaju made that statement yesterday. Now, Ogun State is popular for having Asiwaju say something. It seems like every time he says things and he speaks Yoruba, he tends to say more, than his handlers would prefer or would want it, or anybody would want him to say politically. Recall that it was in Ogun State as well that he made the famous Emilokon statement where he said Olule, where he said the president had failed several times, and he, in his magnanimity, came through for the president and made him the president today. He said it by himself that he installed or he made the president. So if you're now saying that if he was referring to the president, would it mean that he's saying that the president is biting the finger that fed him? Would he say that the president is being ungrateful? Would that mean that at this point the president has abandoned his benefactor? I'll bring in another caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Iheanacho.
Good morning, Oyas.
No, my name is Aisha.
Oh, Aisha, good morning. Welcome. How are you today?
Thank you very much. I'm very well. Thank you.
Oh, very well.
See, I've always been enjoying my words analysis, but today's one is for me. Like, seriously. I'm actually a Yoruba woman, and based on what Ashwaju said, Allah, you don't even need to look for who he's talking to. He's directly talking to his party persons, like the president, because he talks about changing of money, that if they like, they should change the color of the money. Who does that? Is it not the APC in government that initiated the change of money and the likes of it? But anyway, I feel he is saying much more than we can understand. It's like he was saying all of those things in parable. There are more deeper things that we cannot really unravel in the whole of the statement. But obviously he's pointing it to the finger is being pointed to his party persons, the president and the likes of them. And as for me, I used to think of something, I don't know, it's in my thoughts, that if I decide to use somebody that is now a presidential aspirant as my son's father during my son's wedding, I don't think anybody can break that bound, even if we're in this different parties. So there is an undertone to so many things that we don't even know. Like, seriously. Because if I can decide to use somebody to stand in for me as the father of my son during his wedding, the only son I have, I don't know. It's just a story for the gods.
I love that perspective that you just brought in. That was quite deep. Thank you very much for that one. I appreciate you. Have a pleasant day. I mean, think about it. The relationship goes beyond politics, because if you can, look, if you're my son's godfather for any reason, for the sake of that son of mine, things would somehow. But people say, look, there's also a need for people to be able to stand for what they believe in. You know, stand for what you believe in. This the statement I watched. What's her name now? Naja to speak on the matter of her resignation, or the issue of her resignation from the party. And one thing that caught me was, look, stand for what you believe in. That's what she said. If she doesn't believe in your cause, or doesn't believe in what you're doing, then she's not going to be there, right? I'll bring another caller. Hello.
Yes, true. You are very correct.
Oh, yes.
Aisha, thank you for calling. No, because Iheanacho, anybody that call now is for ya.
Yes, you sound like you. Good morning. Good to have you.
Iheanacho, good morning. Eagles 7, good morning.
We're glad to have you.
You know, I was actually enjoying my pounded yam when that first caller came in. And I said, no, you cannot
early morning.
This food.
You are eating pounded yam this early morning.
Iheanacho, the thing where Nigeria need me. Because there's no food that is okay now.
With this all this scarcity of naira and everything, you still have pounded yam. This one, you're a big
Iheanacho, woman no go kill. Person no go kill himself. Man cannot say woman no go kill himself.
Never lie.
So I make sure say my children go finish before I do that one.
Okay.
Just small one.
Okay.
So on a quick one, if this man is talking, you should know that among them, there are division among them. It's like this what are they calling me? This it's not goat now. This other one that is like ram, the other female fish. If there are 100, where one is passing, just because the other one is going for is the first one to move, the others will follow. It's not that they don't have their own what is it called now? Which kind of I want you now? Don't say okay, but what I'm trying to say now is that this knows that the party is in are failed. So if he, and whatever that he said was actually for the president and for APC members and party. During good luck, because the other man that called the first time was saying good luck, PDP, they did this, they did that. During good luck, how much was bag of rice? During good luck, how much was fuel? Well, is this same man not in Nigeria? So this one now that is talking like this knows that things have fallen in their own time. Giving them another chance is like rule. In fact, it's like killing Nigeria properly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Oyas, for calling in. And well, the conversation continues. My guest has just walked in, and we are going to push the conversation a little further. My guest is ADAMU GARBA, who is a Deputy Director, New Media, a member, ICT Management Committee, Tinubu Shettima, Grassroots Independent Campaign Council. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Garba. It's been a while. We've been chasing you, like, you know.
Thank you very much. You know, the campaign events and...
Yes,
thank you for having me.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
So, well, we've been talking about, you know, your party and the prospects of your party at the, you know, polls. The elections are just about 29 days away. And yesterday, your party's candidate was in Ogun State for the party's rally, and he dropped a bombshell, what people can refer to as a bombshell, because it seemed like he was campaigning against his own party. You know, when he made statements like, if they like, let him hoard, you know, petrol, let him change the color of the naira and all that stuff, that he was still going to win the election. What was he saying? Is there a crack amongst the ranks of your party? Is there a face-off between the president? Because all the things that he mentioned are controlled or under the purview of the president. Is there a face-off between the president and your party's candidate?
At all. There is none.
Okay.
In fact, to me, our candidate is helping the party, is helping the government, is helping the president. Simply because there appears to be some internal saboteurs within the supply chain of the oil supply industry, and also within the distribution chain of the naira, the newly redesigned naira, that is actually slowing down this process, thereby affecting the chances of our party winning the coming election, and also hurting our government, even threatening the central bank governor. You know, so these are the issues. So he, at his level of the as the candidate of the party, naturally he has much more of this burden to carry, because he is the one to inherit what is likely coming. So what he did was to echo the pains of the common man. The common man wants fuel, and the distributors and the marketers are hoarding the fuel. The common man need naira to conform and obey the policy of the government, but the distributors of this naira are still slowing down. So to us, it seems that there are some remnants of the opposition from the Labour Party and from the PDP and from the NNPP that are part of this distribution chain that are slowing down this process, thinking that that will hurt the chances of our candidate. Of course, it will never happen because we are in a clear majority. The 2023 election for us is a kind of a wait for a swearing in, because no matter how you look at it, scientifically, in art, in geometry, whatever you think, however you want to compute it, APC is going to take over the leadership from President Muhammadu Buhari. We are going to continue the consolidation of the promises of Nigerians under Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration.
We're going to continue on this point. And, I like because I'm wondering, what does money have to do? The president has said, look, the reason this naira redesign was done was to ensure that nobody manipulates the process using money, nobody buys votes, nobody mobilizes stocks with money. So if your candidate is saying, oh, the naira redesign is going to affect him and his campaign, or his chances at winning the election, what does that really mean? Because I don't see how it directly affects him.
Of course it does. He is the flag bearer of the largest political party.
Are you saying he intends to buy votes?
No.
Okay.
Tinubu, we should stop seeing him as an individual. We should begin to see him as an institution, because he's a flag bearer of the largest political party in Africa, who was voted by delegates across the country, a party that have more than 40 million members. So if he is carrying the flag of that party, he is talking on behalf of that party. And this is the party that have the largest support base in the country. Nearly 150 million Nigerians supported the party, are still supporting APC. So he is talking on behalf of the generality of the members of the party. And if this goes to the common man and the common man started blaming, the common man will blame the party responsible, the government responsible. Of course, it is also going to reverberate on the candidate responsible for the party.
In the last 7 years.
No! Nigerians have been passing through transformation. When you are transiting from a stage where you are being lied to, where all your commonwealth have been stolen, to a stage whereby you are more transparent and things are more reliable and predictable, sometimes there are some pains that will likely happen, and that's what Nigerians are facing. But I'm telling you what APC have done in this country over the period of 7.5 years of President Muhammadu Buhari. In the next 5-10 years, all Nigerians are going to remove all other pictures that they hang in their parlors and hang that of President Muhammadu Buhari, because of the foundation he laid for the country. And that is what Tinubu is promising to consolidate and continue. So when you look at this, APC is clearly going to put PDP and all opposition into complete, absolute, permanent retirement. That is all what the game is for. And they are trying to deceive the public by kidnapping the entire system, holding into ransom, thinking that will make Nigerians to trust them. What they kept doing when they were in government is what they are now doing when they are in the opposition. And they have been exposed by our candidate.
The NNPC has been said to be the sole importer of petrol. The marketers are saying we're not getting the products from the NNPC. The NNPC doesn't have it. The NNPC and the Petroleum Ministry is directly under the president. He's the Minister of Petroleum. So if you're saying anything about the NNPC, then you're probably speaking directly to the president. But we'll talk about that shortly. Stay with us. The conversation continues here. We have ADAMU GARBA joining the conversation. You two will be brought in also shortly. Keep it here with us.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
The newly introduced 200, 500 and 1,000 naira banknotes are now in use under legal tender in Nigeria. The new banknotes were introduced to check issues such as counterfeiting. It is an offense to reject the country's legal tender, accept them and use them side by side with the old banknotes, which will cease to be legal tender on January 31, 2023, when they shall be withdrawn from circulation. Remember to deposit your old banknotes at your bank or the nearest mobile money agent around your location before the deadline. For further details or complaints, call 081 766 57641 or 081 766 57642. The Naira is our national pride. Let's embrace the new currency. This message is from the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN.
You get what you want buy, but you don't get money. Microwave, TV, I mean you want paying about bill. Download Yangabeat from any online store. With 100 naira, fund your wallet. Choose a plan for your gate pass. Start spinning and winning. The player with the highest number wins the beat. Anything what you want buy, you can beat it and win it. Yangabeat, Nigeria's online marketplace.
You can call us on 091 3000 2014 091 3000 2014.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Of currency, I think there will be people a lot of money, but time has been given from October to December, 3 months is enough. Whatever money you have to get it changed through a legal system. So I don't know why people are complaining about it.
So despite the complaint, there's no going back on the policy?
No, there's no going back. There's no going back. My aim is to make sure that Nigerians believe. Is to make sure that Nigerians believe that we respect them as an administration. So Nigerians should vote for whoever they like from whichever party. Nobody will be allowed to mobilize resources and thugs to intimidate people in any constituency. That's what I want to go down into Nigerian history for.
Well, that's the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a member of the All Progressives Congress, not just a member, a national leader of the party. They're speaking and saying Nigerians should vote whatever candidates they want. And he's reiterated this at the campaign rallies. In Bauchi State, he hurriedly rushed off and went to Lagos. He was in Lagos on Monday and on Tuesday. And then yesterday, Wednesday, was the campaign in Ogun State, but the president was absent. You're still maintaining that there's no rift, there's no divide in your party.
That is why I love President Muhammadu Buhari. You see, he is not just a general at war front, but also a general in politics. He knows how to carry himself very well, and he knows how to balance the equation. This is the president that was in Yola, raising the hand of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and say, vote for this man, he's my successor. He went to Yobe. He repeated the same thing. He was in Bauchi. He repeated the same thing. He is going to do the same thing in Cross River State. He is going to do the same thing in Katsina. He is still going to be in Grand Finale Rally in Lagos.
Was where the president said, vote for whoever it is that you want.
No! Who did he raise his hand for? Who did he hand it over the flag to? It's Asiwaju Bola Ahmed. That's why I say he's a very professional and strategic thinker and doer. That's why I start by saying I love him, because he is a very strategic person who knows how to balance the equation. So he just carefully know how to craft his way to ensure that he did not shield his responsibility as the president for all Nigerians, but yet he fight for his party. This president is scheduled to be on 10 rally locations in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, campaigning for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Who is he supporting? So we shouldn't be lying to ourselves. He wants a successor that will consolidate on his policy. Not a PDP he worked for from 1999 till 2015 just to dismantle them. He has been the sole opposition candidate doing everything possible to warn the entire Nigerians about the excesses, the corruption, and the cesspool of damages caused by the APC. He succeeded in dismantling it. It's after dismantling it that you now said he's going to give to opposition. We should be able to see these things very clearly. The only thing he's doing is just to carry everybody along so that nobody can feel like, because he's a party, he's a president of the country, nobody should feel like he's favoring his party unnecessarily against other Nigerian interests. So he's saying, okay, go and vote who you want. Even if he didn't say so, when you go on the polling unit, you have a beavers machine, and that beavers is going to authenticate you and accredit you based on your bio IDs, based on your bio details. How is he going to force any election on you? It is already defined to be free and fair. The Electoral Act 2022 passed by law has already adjudged that the election must be free and fair. That any other disruption that happens at every polling unit, the polling unit is cancelled. One vote above, cancelled. One vote below accreditation, cancelled. Any ballot snatching, cancel. Any issue that happened, cancel. At every other candidate, being in opposition or in the mainstream, you are still going to suffer the consequences. So the election is freely and fairly designed. The only thing that is happening is that the president is trying to carry everybody along so that Nigerians cannot see him as somebody who is unnecessarily biased towards his party, as we have seen in PDP during President Olusegun Obasanjo. You saw how he was carrying Yar'Adua all over, forcing Yar'Adua on us, rigged the election in favor of late Yar'Adua. May God rest his soul. Similarly, when he was campaigning for Jonathan, it was the same thing. You understand? So you need to look at PDP and APC. This is a party that believes in democracy, that believes in constitutionality, that believes in rule of law, that believes in the freedom of Nigerians to express their wishes as they chose to do. And that's exactly what the president is portraying. Nothing more than that, and that's what is going to continue with Tinubu. But the president is 101% behind Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's presidency.
Najitu Bala Mohammed is a director, or was a director in the Asiwaju campaign.
Yeah.
And she resigned and stated categorically that she resigned because Asiwaju did not have a blueprint, especially for the North. She goes on to say all of the people who are, surrounded the candidate, who are there with him and urging him on, are people who are there for their personal interest. They're there for what they can get from him, and also the positions they can get if he gets into power, because they know that he cannot do it. He doesn't have the capacity to run Nigeria. How do you respond to that?
Najatu, I respect Najatu Bala Mohammed as a mother, but I want to confess that she is actually a barefaced liar. She has
How do you say so?
She has always been a propagandist throughout her political journey.
A lot of people would,
this is the person.
A lot of people would argue that and say this is one woman who has stood for what she believes.
No. She has always been
even while in the
politically.
party, she has always spoken a bit about the excesses of the president or the failures of the president.
She cannot survive in the mainstream politics. She's always a position candidate. She has always been in the opposition her entire life.
Well, because she stands for the people.
No. It's not about standing for the people. It's about always being negative. Always talking about the negative things. She will never go out there and talk about the president's giant strides. She will never commend the president for giving her opportunity to serve as on the board of Police Service Commission, collecting salaries and emolument currently as I'm talking to you, protected by the police, giving all the monies by the police, the vehicles she drives is by the police, the house she lives in is by the Police Service Commission, given to her by the president. Yes, she goes here to criticize him
because
for nothing else.
She's not there for her personal interest.
We agree.
She's not a psychopath.
We agree. Even me sometimes I criticize the government, on something they did wrong, but I can tell you that the government recorded giant said you never hear Najah Mohammed talk about the AKK pipeline that is being built in the north. You never hear Najah to commending the president for discovery of oil well in Kolmani in the north. You never hear her talking about the Zungeri power plant that has been generating 750 megawatts adding to our national grid from the north. You never hear her talking about the president giant strike and revolutionary agricultural strike that he recorded in the north. You will never hear positive information. The only thing you hear about her is kidnapping, killing, raping, destruction. She's a negative person, always in the negative politics. Immediately, don't forget she has been with President Muhammadu Buhari in 2002. In 2007, when she discovered that President Muhammadu Buhari might not likely win the election, she jumped to ACN, went to beg Asiwaju, get the senatorial ticket, went to contest in Kano, lost flatly. She now was criticizing Atiku then was criticizing Buhari. Then she now jumped back to Buhari again. Immediately they won the election in 2015. She defaulted back to her criticism. That's why Buhari threw her away. So people begged and said, let's help this woman. And she's now in Police Service Commission. She's still doing the criticism. So she's known for criticism. If she said that Tinubu has no blueprint for the North, there is no biggest liar on earth, that will actually be much more than that person. As at now. Why? Because on every occasion, Tinubu promises to recharge Lake Chad. The biggest problem we have in the north that brings about this banditry you see and kidnapping is lack of water resources. We may be painting it as ideological, but because of lack of enough water flowing to the farmlands during the dry season, the farmers and the herders are forced to share small resources together. Then the farmers have their own water by the one side, and the herders have their own water by the other side, so they don't come together. But this time around, they are forced to share small resources, and that's where you have this spark. And then it grows and boomerang into banditry and full-time insurgency. Why? Because Lake Chad has shrunk. 90% of Lake Chad is dried up. So the incoming president of Nigeria, by the grace of God, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, promises to recharge Lake Chad. Number one. Number two, he promises to revitalize Ajaokuta, that our president, the current president, did everything possible to recover from the hangover of the PDP excesses. The third thing again is that he promised to continue the AKK pipeline down to Spain. And also the one that we have here that is going towards Morocco down to Spain. And West African gas pipeline that passes over the shores down into Portugal. He promised to continue that. He promised to industrialize the agricultural practices. Not to leave it the way it is now, but to improve upon it by industrializing it. He promised education policy to liberate the out-of-school children and a specific program for the Almajiri system of education in Nigeria. What is he talking about that the incoming president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has no manifesto for the North? The only thing she wants is, she has a personal interest. She came into PCC thinking that Tinubu has one big money somewhere that he will want to carry and give her. Waited for 3 months, money didn't come. She was angry. The best thing she do is to go to the money bag, Atiku. And even when going to Atiku, if you notice of all her utterances, she categorized him as a third option among all the options she have. Number one, she says she struggled to meet Obi just to hide her ethnicism. She's an ethnic player. She doesn't want government to go back to the south. That's her pain. And we believe that presidency must go back to the south in arrangement in the structure of Nigerian arrangement. So because in order to hide this ethnicity, she said she tried to reach Obi, but they've been missing each other. Then she went to Konkoso, and Konkoso will not win.
I wouldn't think anybody would say, or someone like you would say that, jumping from one party to another is such a bad thing, because you had moved from the APC, went to the YPP when you couldn't get the ticket.
Yes.
And people even say that, well, you took monies from people to get the APC, ticket, or rather nomination form, and then you jumped to YPP, and just when you saw that, Asiwaju has maybe has the prospects to win the election, and you had certain things that you may want to benefit from him, and you jumped back to the APC. So at this point, would you tell us that Nigerian politics is one that is ideological, especially for someone like you?
Yes, let me explain. You see, I jumped into YPP for one reason and one reason only, and it's a public domain, that the election process in Nigeria has been commercialized. Like the monetization, the financialization of the system that was done by APC 10 was very, very bad in the interest of Nigeria's future. So you agree I stood by that. So I moved into YPP after getting about 83 million people from my friends, not people online. The total amount of money that was donated online was less than 100K. And we returned them. The majority of the money, about 83 million, was donated by my own friends, about 14 of us. Even I donated 20 million. So it is within the 14 of us that we generated this money, thinking that we should go and buy the phone from the PDP, the APC. Then we now decided to say, no, why do we have to waste this money? Let's go to YPP. We went into YPP, got the form. Eventually, the person I have been campaigning for all my life got the ticket, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Then what am I there for? I was in Lagos. I went to Lagos as a young man with nothing, a Fulani boy who just was even sacked from university, I went to Lagos in search of opportunity and started to join IT, and before I realized it, because of the Lagos arrangement, I was able to make it in life. So I promised myself that this guy, whatever he wants in this country, I'm going to support him. And there he is, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, bearing the ticket of the party I labored so much for, invested my sweat and blood in, and then he got the ticket. So what do you expect me to do? Is to throw back whatever my ambition and support the ambition for the greater good of Nigeria. That is why we turned back all the monies that we collected from the people. publish even the statement of account so that everybody can see it, and then start campaigning for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Why? Because my ideology and that of his ideology, and I believe the majority of the young men's ideology in Nigeria aligns with that
what
of
is
Tinubu.
that ideology?
The ideology is a perfect state capitalist system whereby industries, job creation, opportunities, and macroeconomic policies are going to be driven to ensure that young people have participated extensively in the economic development of their country. Tinubu is a right-wing progressive in politics. And when you are talking about right-wing progressive, is somebody who favors order and stability. So when there are order in the system, you know, and stability, there will be economic growth and there will be security. So because of that, I went with him all through his political journeys. The second thing again is that believing in the prospect of the future, bringing young people, plugging them together, give them a sense of direction and mentorship for them to rise higher. Tinubu has demonstrated this in more than every other Nigerian politician you can know in this country. Today, Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was part of these mentors. Many ministers were part of these mentors. Many governors were part of these mentors. Many senior persons in this country were part of this
country is where it is, because, you know, some people put people in and put a leash on them, and so they can always come back to them and use them when they want to.
No.
Don't worry, I'll bring in a caller now. Let's bring in the callers, because our callers are itching to speak. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Iheanacho.
Good morning to you.
How are you, sir? I want to very briefly and humbly contribute to your discussion this morning.
You're very welcome. What's your name, please?
My name is Femi.
Femi, good to have you.
Yes. And then, by the grace of God, I understand a bit of Yoruba. Now, you started the program with Asiwaju's statements yesterday at I think, Ogun State.
Yes.
And then let me just say a well-done job to GARBA there. We know him to be very brilliant, and he has proven his brilliancy beyond every doubt again this morning. The way he actually handled that studio this morning is actually very impressive. Now, the first caller made a very neat statement. He said Asiwaju was categorical at Ogun State yesterday, and nothing could just be far from the truth. He said what he said, and he said again that these people, the umbrella party, wants to get it. But whatever he said, if he can now come to the conclusion that this is the people he was talking about, I think that settles it. He left no ambiguity. Said these people, the umbrella party. So if we are trying to say, okay, whatever he said is a pointer to the fact that there are divisions in the party, it's not true.
Okay.
If he had left that statement so that blank, then there will be confusion everywhere. He said these people, the umbrella, and it was clear. In the tape you played, it still came out so very clear. And so if we are celebrating, there will be confusion. There are divisions already in APC. We might be disappointed at the end of the day if events turn out now to prove us so very wrong. I'm not sure there are divisions.
Okay.
I'm not sure there are divisions, and then we just pray that God strengthens Asiwaju, and then that his desire for this country comes to a full light and full fulfillment.
All right. Thank you very much, Femi, for calling. You two can be a part of the conversation. We have a few more minutes to wrap this up. 09073530044 and 09087668888. Now, Mr. Garba, we have seen polls, coming out in the last few months, but none of these polls have really said that the APC would win the election. Are you not worried as an APC, as a member of the APC and the campaign council, member as well?
I'm not at all, because I know that most of these polls are being tweeted from outside Nigeria. In fact, yesterday I had an encounter with a certain lady who attacked me because I attacked Peter Obi. And I now ask her, how is Canada?
Admit to attacking.
Yes, and we attacked each other. It's politics. So when I did that, I was now asking her, how is Canada? Is she going to tweet her votes from Canada too? Does she even know her polling units? When you check the statistics of the traffic coming online, this is my field. I'm a tech person. In fact, a predictive analytic, when you do the predictive analytics and do some deep diving into the traffic models that are coming into Nigeria, you see that based on our estimations, nearly 65% of the traffic that are coming to support Peter Obi's campaign are for the people that are living outside Nigeria, that have no voters card, that don't even know their polling unit, that probably have been forgotten by their villages. You understand? These are the people that are supporting him. So the fact that they feel like it's a moral responsibility to quickly come online and click a button and show that they are together with the obedient movement means a good thing for our democracy, that external people are participating in it, but that cannot translate to any votes on the ground. A party that have no structure, there is no any empirical structure, there is no any empirical means that party can never be able to win election. We shouldn't be lying to ourselves. Again, when you come back to PDP has only, I think to the best of my knowledge now, maybe 6 or 5 governors, you know, because G5 are with us. Even within the G5, there are some hidden Gs.
How do you say that G5 is
G5 are 100% with us.
Said they are with anybody.
They are PDAPC. If they are not campaigning for the PDP, who are they campaigning? You had Sheima Kinde was categorically condemning the PDP. You had what Nation Wike was doing, categorically campaigning against the APC. And you had the governor of Abia, the governor of Imo. I think we only have one governor, I think Governor Tom, who is dancing around, but you also join the queue. Even Adamawa State governor, you know, where Atiku come from, is likely going to work for us. Again, you have a governor of Bauchi State, is also likely going to work for us. So when you look at all these combination with the 22 governors we have, with the structures that we have established, with the trust we have from the young people, from the people all over the country, it means that we are likely going to win this. In fact, we have won. We are just waiting for the swearing in of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
That's what you say. But anyway, the health of your presidential candidate has been an issue of concern to many Nigerians. Many people have been speaking about it. Najatu also made reference to that.
What God has given me. However, I looked at the options in the APC. They go to rallies, and Asiwaju cannot even decipher. He cannot. When I was speaking, I sat with him for 2 hours. Most of the time he was sleeping. You ask him questions on this, and he's talking completely different from the topic that you are discussing.
That's Najatu.
Let me explain. Let me work in her own thinking, right? Because she's a barefaced liar, but let me work in her own thinking. Asiwaju was in Bauchi 3 days ago to sleep. He went to Abia 2 days ago to sleep. He was in Abeokuta yesterday to sleep. He is currently in Benue to sleep. He might likely go to Taraba later again and go and sleep. So all the campaigns he has been doing all over this country, when he stands on the podium, he starts sleeping. That's what Najatu is saying. How can a responsible, a reasonable human being trust what this woman is saying? She had a privilege of having access for once, and she betrayed that access in her true nature. Because wherever she had opportunity, she betrayed it. It's a clear ungratefulness. And Asiwaju was being magnanimous to her by giving her the audience she asked for, simply because he wanted inclusion for women in politics. Because she's one of the few vocals in the northern political participation, he chose to give her that ovation because of his respect for who women are in politics. Again, she abused it in her typical nature. Now she jumped to Atiku, who is going to give her some money. Later, she'll still abuse it. She doesn't know that Atiku has, perhaps maybe he will realize a lot of consequences of dealing with people that abuse others, because he's currently suffering from the consequences of what Achimugu is doing. Achimugu has exposed his sample of corrupt practices. So that is why she's going to. She always wants to play politics of opposition. And I believe, personally, that where she went to is the right destination for her, because Atiku is a permanent opposition candidate and he will remain in opposition as long as Nigeria lives. So because of that, she will find a perfect having with Atiku Abubakar, but she's a barefaced liar. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the most healthiest president.
How do you call a person a barefaced liar? How do you call a person a liar when, you know, they say truth is relative? Your truth may be different from
No. How can you tell me that all the actions, all the activities that Asiwaju has been doing in this country
But we've seen videos of the Ashwaju, you know, saying certain things that are not intelligent.
These gaps,
intelligible.
These gaps is a strategic advice given to him. You know, we have two demography that are going to produce Nigerian election. We have the women demography, and then we have the youth demography. The youth of Nigeria don't attend to things if they don't have an ilk of play, or if you have to play.
Who gave that advice?
The strategic team.
You gave that advice.
We gave the advice. Now listen to what happened. He mentioned PDAPC. What happened? One person decided to create a song around God bless PDAPC, and the guy now shut down to limelight. Without that, we can't have the penetration we had. Now Asiwaju, I'm coming. Now listen. Now Asiwaju has more penetration in the digital media space than any other candidate in Nigeria because of these gaps. He talk about electricity and the roasted corn. They connect. Without heating, you can be able to roast the corn. But again, he put that corn to support a farmer and to also reach out to the audience that will naturally use it, you know, to be able to popularize it much more. So we cash out on this big time, and it's giving us the penetration we need in the digital media. If we don't have these gaps, Peter Obi will have outshined everybody in social media. Now he must have been there in a positive light, but Asiwaju is also there much more further than him. In fact, based on the last statistics as at yesterday, Asiwaju have 222.6 million impressions, while Peter Obi was having 37 million impressions. This is to show you the perfection of our crafty design to be able to reach to the hearts of the young people and sell Asiwaju, and we succeed.
ADAMU Garba, that would be your own truth. You say you called Naja to a barefaced liar, but I would say everybody has a way of saying their own truth, and we'll put our truths out the way that we feel they should be put out. ADAMU Garba is Deputy Director, New Media. You would agree that he's doing a good job at that. Member ICT Management Committee, Tinubu Shettima Grassroots Independent Campaign Council. Thank you so much for being on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me. Iheanacho. It was a great interaction.
Interesting conversation. Yes. Let's do this some more. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave you now. Thank you so much for being a big part of it. Do some more. Tomorrow we'll be back with more on the program. Stay here. My name is Iheanacho Prince.